The bridge, yeah, for sure.
All right, so we laid out what we think they're going to be the new wrinkles for 2021 on offense. They're going to be, because there's always new wrinkles with Kyle. He doesn't just Xerox last year's playbook, which is why we love him, which is why you're an only chance. And I think I lost a bet. I think I need to be wearing.
No. You won the bet. Justin Fields didn't go.
Okay.
So you won.
Yeah. All right. What defensive changes do you expect D'Amico Ryans and James Bettcher to implement this year?
So this is a great question because I just got asked this and it's fresh in my mind, and I'm glad you brought it up. So again, when I said, the draft picks on the offensive side have tipped their hand, the defensive side has tipped their hand much more. Ambry Thomas profiles as a man corner. 2020, they ran a whole bunch of man, a lot more quarters, and you saw it towards the end of the season, which is why Keller Weatherspoon was so successful. Yes. So they're going to be running a lot more man. Here's another thing I think they're going to start doing: blitzing from different places. That may be KK, that may be Jimmy Ward, that may be Jaquiski Tartt, but they're going to start blitzing more. You're going to start to see more pressure, I believe, from D'Amico Ryans, honestly. Robert Saleh had to do it. Robert Saleh had to do it last year in the interest of generating pass rush because of so many injuries. I think this is going to be something that's more implemented. When you heard Jaquiski Tartt talk in his press conference about, I hope they blitz me 12 times a game. Well, he did that in 2017 with Robert Saleh, and he was very successful. So I think that D'Amico Ryans is going to implement that a little bit more. What Robert Saleh did last year that I thought was masterful is you put on tape that K'Wan Williams is the blitzer. You show him at the line, and you have Jimmy Ward behind him, who usually drops into coverage. Then you flipped it. Now you have Jimmy Ward coming, and KK dips back. That sort of stuff, you're playing with people's offensive minds when you show them stuff on film, and then you change it up. So
you make them think that you have a tendency, and now you use that against them.
Exactly.
Great.
So no more straight up cover three, and it really didn't happen a lot last year either. Yeah. But I expect a lot more blitzing, whether that's from linebackers, whether that's from safeties. They're going to show people at the offensive line, at the line, and drop them back or send them in. I just expect to see more pressure, not just relying on Bosa and whoever's on the other side to go get the quarterback. I think they're really going to try to be more aggressive in that way.
If only they'd had this defensive philosophy in the Super Bowl.
Why you got to do that though?
Sorry. As you said it, I was like, when you said, man, they're not just going to do straight cover three anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's true. It was the last time they did that. The Super Bowl, 3rd and 15. I love Robert Saleh, but they really did learn. They had to learn the hard way, but they really did learn. They've taken this defense a whole different direction. And I like what you said. I totally agree. I think they're going further with it. They're not going back. They're going to go more pressure this year. And the thing about James Bettcher, if you look into his background, he was underneath Todd Bowles a long time ago in Arizona. And then he replaced Todd Bowles. And Todd Bowles brings a hell of a lot of pressure. And Todd Bowles is really good. I mean, as good as Robert Saleh is, that's as good as Todd Bowles is in different ways. They have different philosophies.
He was the MVP of the Super Bowl, Todd Bowles. Like, I understand it. I understand the Chiefs, offensive line was in shambles.
9 points.
But come on. I mean,
you could argue that he's better than Robert Saleh, honestly. 9 points.
Yeah, honestly, so there is an argument to be made for that. And here's the thing that I will always give Robert Saleh credit for, and I always try to explain to 49ers fans. Coaches generally don't get better. They either just plateau and they are who they are. Robert Saleh's first year, people really had reservations about him. He didn't really make many adjustments, but he ascended every single year.
Good coaches get better. Good coaches get better. Bowles has been in the league a long time, and I think that's what he's got over Saleh's experience.
And just because he failed as a head coach doesn't mean that he's not a defensive mind. Like, I don't like Matt Patricia, but like I got to watch a coaching clinic with Vish of him, and that guy is evil genius when it comes to defense, honestly. Sure. So just because he failed in one aspect. Right. Just because he failed in one aspect in leading men doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's talking about on the other side. And also, I'd like to point out that Todd Bowles was booted from New Jersey. Well, yeah, the Jets, New Jersey. And they don't really have a good record of sticking with coaches who actually do things right. They stuck with Rex Ryan too long. Todd Bowles was
Pete Carroll failed the Jets.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think Todd Bowles deserves a lot of credit, and that's a good comp, honestly, when you talk about them. Todd Bowles, for me, was the MVP of that Super Bowl. Just look at how many times Patrick Mahomes had to do what he did in that game. I understand the offensive line was messed up, but they were confusing the hell out of him. He had no idea where any of the blitz was coming from in that game.
So much more pressure, much more like a Todd Bowles defense.
Straight up man, too, I think.
That's why I don't see Richard Sherman coming back. I know they keep his rumors out there, but to me, that's coming from him.
That's the part that I struggle with as well. That's the part that I struggle with as well, too, right? Because, it would have to be in some sort of rotational position.
As a safety, probably.
Further back. So he kind of did it with the Rams. He wasn't exactly in a safety spot, but he was so far away from the receiver, understanding the concept and everything. See, Sherm could get by being off because of
Yeah.
his mind. He understands
Yes.
the concepts. He knows what he's looking at. But again, if you're going to make the switch, and again, they tip their hand. Lenoir profiles as KK Williams.
Yes.
He's the same sort of slot guy. They want Hufanga just in case, one of the heavy hitters can't play in the box anymore. I expect to see him a little bit at linebacker as well too. And then you look, Ambry Thomas is a man guy. Jason Verrett can play man. Mosley, we don't know if he can, but again, Mosley, when he was playing well, they had an amazing pass rush with it. So again, I think that to cover up the lack of depth in the secondary, I think you're going to have to bring more pressure and get to the quarterback quicker just to make sure that nothing on the back end happens.
Yeah, but to finish this topic up real quick, the idea of bringing new pressure and featuring different people, that was Saleh's thing to blitz K'Waun Williams. That was his ace up his sleeve. Who knows what James Betcher and D'Amico Ryans? Maybe it'll be Tart.
Right.
Maybe Jimmy Ward.
I actually expect it to be Tart. I think that Tart's going to be doing that a lot more, that they're going to play him in the box a little bit more, let him roam around. Similar to, I don't know if you guys remember last year, Tarvarius Moore against the Patriots was allowed to roam the box completely. And I had not seen that, with Tart at all. And it's not like Tart can't do it. He just wasn't asked to do it. So that's the sort of thing that kind of like, okay, I understand that Tarvarius Moore has closing speed and back speed because he can get back, but you've seen that he can be successful in there. And Tarvarius Moore is not a thumper, right? So if you have a guy in the box, you got to make sure that he can hit no matter what. So I think that's part of what they're going to be thinking.
Shanahan has been a bust. Prove me wrong. Coming out strong, says never understand. Niner fans still trust in Kyle. He's not a good head coach! ! He rode Saleh's defense to the Super Bowl. He's Norv Turner 2.0 with the known last name. Hey, look, listen, I know it's hard to hear from an Only Shan's Presidente, but look, this is what Kyle is up against if he loses again this year.
No,
there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake for Kyle, but he's pretty good.
Talked about it. About it. This was the most important offseason. He has to nail this quarterback pick because it's his guy. And there are these rumors out there about him. I can't deny that. This is a results-driven business. No matter what I think about Kyle Shanahan and his play design, which, that last part about riding the Saleh's defense to the Super Bowl, don't know about that because that really didn't have much to do with them running all over Green Bay 2 straight games. That really didn't have anything to do with Minnesota, all those other games. So let's dial that back a little bit. But I do understand the concern because that is there, because it is a results-driven business. He's only had one winning year since he's been here. And then when you talk about when you talk about him starting here and him saying, okay, we're going to ride with Brian Hoyer year one. Okay, that'll fly year one, but that's a bad start because now you're behind the 8 ball. You keep having a losing season.
Right.
You have success in 2019. 2020, the team falls apart. And then now you're in the position you are where this team is expected to contend and you have the keys to the car now. So, yeah, I mean, this is, look, hurts to hear somebody else say that, but it's not like it's not true, honestly. So I'm very objective when it comes to that.
What's interesting is he's kind of in a similar spot as John Gruden. John Gruden's very respected. Not as much as Kyle anymore, but in his day he was.
Yeah.
He was, when he was 40, he was. And he's just not had the results for a very long time. And I still think people give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's starting to be like, man, when was the last time John Gruden won?
Can I go off on a John Gruden tangent real quick?
Please do, yeah.
So, yeah, honestly, John Gruden is like low-key a fraud in this league, because I don't know if anybody remembers the circumstances about him pushing his way out of Oakland and then going to Tampa Bay, right? And then, all right, so here's the little-known secret that nobody knows. Tony Dungy, who is a defensive mind, was the coach before. John Gruden's an offensive coach, right?
Yeah.
The little-known secret is that Tony Dungy's offense has actually performed better than John Gruden's. Yeah. That defense was all-time. John Lynch, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, Dexter Jackson. I can keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in the Super Bowl, Bill Callahan, who took over for John Gruden, never changed any of the calls. No. John Gruden's literally sitting there. Here's the call. Here's what they're going to do. Rich Gannon was the MVP that year. Right. That offense was running through everybody.
Yeah.
And he wins a Super Bowl on that. And that's where everybody gets this narrative that John Gruden's a good coach. Never done anything ever again. Now, you have to remember all those circumstances when it comes to that. I knew that John Gruden thing was going to be a bust as soon as he went to the Raiders. Never thought he was a good coach. And then when you see 7 years, $100 million, Raiders going to Raider, and they'll never be good ever again. And you're like, hey, you don't have to worry about that.
If Al Davis were alive right now, he'd be like, Mark, I told you. I was right to trade this dude. And he was right to trade him. Only thing was Bill Callahan probably should have changed up his calls a little bit. Al should have called him in.
Also, let's also be fair, right? Remember, John Gruden lost in the Tuck Rule game. They would have won that Super Bowl hands down if they make it. Hands down, that Raiders team would have done it. But hey,
that's true.
That's how it goes.
How it goes. Parker Reno 97 says Sherman playing safety is stupid. He can't play man coverage very well and playing free safety and cover 3. Well, here's the thing. They don't really play that much single high anymore.
No.
They're more of a split safety defense now.
Yep.
It's more of a split safety league. Tampa just won a Super Bowl that way.
Right, and it's almost positionless because you'll see Tart line up at free safety. You'll see Jimmy over at strong safety, and that just speaks to their versatility. So, I mean, it's not position-based. Like, it's not, oh, my God, Ward is the free safety, and oh, my God, the strong safety is Tart. You know, so it's really different, but they do run a lot of too high.